All right. Welcome back to the Ball and Breakfast podcast. My name is Gio, as you know from episode one. And do I have a banger for you tonight? Something passionate to rant about, something that needs to be spoken about for ages on both sides of the gender divide. We're going to talk about my national football team and the federation that represents us. But before we get into all the controversial conversation, we just want to say congratulations to the Reggae Girls. Congratulations to Sidella Marley. Congratulations to Lauren Donaldson, the coach, which, funny enough, I had the pleasure of meeting on a flight on the way to Denver, Colorado with my family. Very pleasant guy, very mannerable guy. Took a picture with my nephew who plays football or soccer for you American fans. And just want to say massive congrats to the ladies. Bonnie, who kind of trains out at Miles Fitness, met her a couple times. Very pleasant girl, very knowledgeable girl, down to earth. Can't say enough good things about her. And overall, just a gift of talent and work ethic and just a powerhouse athlete and one of the unsung heroes of Jamaican sports because really and truly, up until just recently, she really has not gotten the backative or the support that she could have gotten. And we all know this to be true, right? So let's get into it. The JFF. I'm reading People magazine about the stories about funding. Nothing that is a shocker to a citizen of Jamaica like myself because this has been the story from time immemorial. I remember doing Herbalife distributions in Jamaica was one of my summer jobs, and Ricardo Bibi Gardner came up and he was picking up some supplies from Herbalife at the time. And when you heard the horror stories about what they were paid out versus what FIFA were paying them after 1998 and all the struggles that they go through, I mean, really and truly, to the world at large, this is not a shocker for most Jamaican people, sadly to say. And yes, we're going to see them on the Instagram accounts and the social media platforms, just like this one: Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, all of them. You name it, they're on it, and they're going to spin it. And they have to spin it now because I think their worst nightmare has happened. They're going to be held accountable because stars have broken through without their help and feel no loyalty to the JFF. Leon Bailey had a podcast interview with Jay Frey, and he spoke about how the loops that he had to go through just to get ahead, just to get an opportunity. And it beckons the question, when are we going to wake up? When are we as a Jamaican people going to start supporting one another before we get to that pinnacle, that point where you don't have a choice but to support them? When are we going to change that? I mean, when you think about what comprises the Jamaica men's national football team, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I said to him, I said, you know, importing more than you export can only lead to something bad. We're talking in business. And when I think about it, it's the same thing with the Jamaica football team. Who knew outside of, I can say honestly, I know zero women's players outside of Bunny. And I only know Bunny because I follow the Premier League at large, and she's a phenom in the women's game in the Premier League. And you can't not see her. I know no other female footballers for Jamaica until this tournament. And that's absolutely disgraceful on my part and the part of everybody. I'm sure no one knew who Miss Waby was. I mean, when you look on the Jamaica men's national team, when you see the body language displayed by Mikel Antonio and other imported players, a certain nonchalantness. Doesn't really matter. Everybody tries to tell me, oh, that's the culture. They just dance and sing along. You guys saw when Bunny went kneeling down on that field crying? That's passion. Not just passion for the country, but passion for a team, passion for her fellow sisters that she's been through the grind with. That extra effort. That comes from this. Passion for this. Not the JFF, for this. The opportunity to show, I mean, little girls in Jamaica that irregardless of what you come up against, if you work hard enough, you'll get there. I mean, right now, TVJ, CVM, all news platforms should be knocking her door down to produce a documentary because it's a phenomenal situation. I would harken and say that it's very similar to a Pele story. There's no difference. She's made it to a place, Bunny, that is reserved for very, very few people. And as a Jamaican person, even now, even as I speak, we've kind of swept it under the rug. I don't see any national parades for them coming back home. I don't see any organization for that. I don't see any major effort to want to get to know and profile these ladies so that we can, in turn, as a general public, develop a bond with them. Because right now there's a disconnect and it's our fault. It's the populace's fault. We have to reach out and make the connection with them. I mean, I remember when I just got back to Jamaica. I moved back to Jamaica about 7-8 years ago. When I just got back, I had the privilege of meeting Mr. Butler. My initial thought process of the man was highly arrogant, and I was a detractor of his because I did not understand what it was that he had gone through to get where he is now, and why it is that he is so quick to make a rebuttal on everything that is published via the JFA and his players or the national team, or for example his outlook on football. I mean, I'd feel like I can do anything in the world too if I went over all of those hurdles that you put in front of me, and then I'd come back down and tell you that, listen, I can put a Phoenix Academy that can beat the national team. And I would argue maybe they could. Because in terms of unity, in terms of camaraderie, most teams have more camaraderie than our national team. You can see it on the pitch. Disjointed. We don't care. And why don't we care? Let's dive into it for a second. Mikel Antonio. Did he want to play for Jamaica? Or was it that he wasn't good enough to play for England? And there's a World Cup coming up that we have a high possibility of qualifying. As a matter of fact, if we don't qualify for the next World Cup as a men's national team, we should discontinue the program like we did for the females team. And hope that Ziggy or Bob or Damian Marley funds the men's national team, because there's more reason to fund the females national team than the men's. Go give it to the Sunshine Girls and the volleyball that they're performing with. Why are we bringing in Damari Gray, as talented as he is? We weren't first choice, so why would he give us his best effort on the football field? Why start Mikel Antonio over Nicholson? Why? Because he's a brand name? Put a couple extra butts in seats? Red coat from England? No. Why can't we give our D Cup footballers, Manning Cup footballers, the youngsters, an opportunity? I mean, I remember, it's so funny. I went to University of Hartford, and that's where I met Damian Lowe, who plays centre back for our national team. Fantastic footballer, passionate to a T. I mean, personality, charming, very enterprising, very warm, and really embodies the culture of Jamaica. Dances, if you give him a half a beat, he starts dancing. Now, that doesn't detract, however, let me add this on. That does not detract of how aggressive he plays and how passionately he plays for our national team. It's no surprise that every set piece he's almost on the end for scoring boatloads at centre back for Jamaica. He scores more than our strikers. But you know why? He'll put his neck on the line because that's the man. He's Jamaican. Flag means something. So we take away opportunities from guys like Nicholson, who scored for us in the past. We put Antonio there. Decord over Reed. We put him anywhere to fit him on the field. Position doesn't matter. These guys, we brought in the biggest nut job in Ravel Morrison. Biggest head case. Oh, throw him on the field. He's good enough for us. Instead of giving a simple opportunity to our Jamaican footballers. I mean, guys, it's about time that we start nurturing the talent that we have out here. It's what got us to the World Cup in 1998. I don't remember us importing any footballers, even though I was 8. I did meet the goalkeeper Barrett I remember when we made the World Cup and how the traffic was in Kingston. It's like a national holiday immediately. Dion Burton and the lads, Topper, all of those guys. I remember that. Iconic jersey, by the way. Way better than this. But that's homegrown talent. Homegrown talent. I mean, I have a Liverpool fan group from Jamaica, and we went through like who the top 10 football legends for Jamaica are. And I mean, the amount of corner league football stars that I've never heard about, but in little pockets, in little spaces, they're whispered about like legends that just never got a chance, never got the support. Similarly to the women's national team. And I hope, it's my hope, that Bunny comes out and does a tell-all video interview and really puts the microscope on the JFF. Really put some pressure on them. Where's all the budgetary money going? Why is it that they have to fly economy? Why is it that they have to exchange jerseys and wait until the men's jerseys? They don't even have some jerseys. I mean, the horror stories are endless. Why? We can find money for all other sorts of craziness. Why? And that's on both sides of the divide. I mean, there are many different things that the men's national team struggle through as well. Not half as much as the women, which are a whole nother issue altogether that we take another, I don't know, another 45 minutes of your time, but I'm going to try and keep this a little bit more spicy and to the point. It's more of a charge. Once again, we're under the microscope for something that could have been extremely positive, warm, but that question of support, that question of backative from the JFF and just our athletics culture at large. I mean, the microscope's on you. And I hope that social media at large, podcasters like myself, players keep on coming out and applying that pressure. Because I can tell you what, there's a big payday coming out for the next men's World Cup. And I hope we track the cookie trail, the crumb trail, and make sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted. And that we support our men's national team to the best of our ability in all aspects, and continuing further supporting the women's national team. I mean, it is such a warm, I mean, story that is, it doesn't come along too often. I mean, the first US team to win the World Cup for the for the USA women's national team. I mean, they run that ad every year. That's how special it is. I mean, Ami Wambach is celebrated like a god. Rapinoe, Alex Morgan, Bonnie Shaw needs to be treated in Jamaica just like that. She is the definition of woman king. She has led her group with class, grace, and a fiery disposition to just not give up. Congratulations to you. Hopefully, in the coming months and years, we can say congratulations to us as a nation for finally turning the page and learning to support one another. That's it from me. And I hope you like, subscribe, but more importantly, share this message. Have a good night.